I watched it have an hour-long debate with itself, and it was going out and writing software so it could go and research the ethics of scraping websites.
Oh, so you have to pay for it?
Well, you're paying for the API calls, like to like ChatGPT and OpenAI. Well, it depends on what you're doing, but like my stuff was pretty pretty intensive.
Yeah.
You know, it's several queries.
Needs those access.
Yeah.
That's the part that I'm really trying to wrap my head around, is trying to figure out exactly. Okay, so we understand that, you know, the valuation of NVIDIA is 1/31st of the total national debt.
Mm-hmm.
You could stay out of that for now. I want to talk about how do you monetize that? Like, we know that there's a lot of people that are going to do queries on AI. How is that monetized? Like, is that monetized when you run it and you've got a credit card set it? So that's, I'm guessing, is like the pay versions, right? But what about these companies themselves that are actually doing these queries through like and I don't even know who the players are. They're like, I don't know if it's the Snowflakes or the Databricks of the worlds, but whoever actually has and houses this data that these large language models are actually combing through, like, how are they getting paid?
It's the web.
Who's getting access to that data? Do they have to pay for that data itself?
This is where it's fascinating. The whole thing is fascinating, but here's where it starts to get really interesting. I'm going to circle back to your question there and answer that, but to give you some context, you can watch, as you saw on the screen, you can kind of see when it cycles through a decision and this failed, why did it fail, it analyzes it. There's like a 4-part thing that it breaks down every decision into and every action into to analyze what sub actions need to be taken to fix the problem, what criticisms it had to what it did wrong, that sort of thing. So it keeps getting better the longer it runs. One of the things I wanted it to do as a kind of a test thing was scrape some Twitter accounts and generate an RSS feed out of it. Just useful to something.
What is that?
So an RSS feed is like an automated way. There's automated like feed, XML feed of like blog contents.
Got it.
You know, of course, in scraping Twitter is something they have an API for, but it costs $5,000 now under the new Elon regime to get access to the API. And
wow.
So, yeah.
Was it free before?
It was pretty cheap before, yeah. But it's free to scrape Twitter, right? So I told AGPT, you know, what to do. So use a library, scrape it, get the data, and it procrastinates by having a debate with itself on the ethics of scraping websites when there's paid models. I watched it have an hour-long debate with itself, and it was going out and writing software so it could go and research the ethics of scraping websites.
Wow.
And I had given it a long rope. I'd said, okay, you can, you know, work for the next 100 decisions on your own with mine. So I was just sitting there watching. I couldn't do anything. And so when it finally came up for me to do a decision like an hour later, or to give it more autonomous, decision making, or to jump in, I just typed in like Elon Musk wants $5,000 for access to this API, and it's totally destroyed the ethical concerns and decided, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and write the scraper. So
that again,
but one of the things that it was doing along the way there was it was interacting. You know those little pop-ups that come up in the bottom right of whether you talk to an agent or a robot?
Yeah, It's like it's writing.
It was having conversations with other humans and AIs to get more information about the API from Twitter.
That's incredible.
Oh, that's pretty fast.
So to answer your original question, how is it going to, what's the business model here? Obviously, this is going to lead to intelligent agents talking to each other and negotiating rates for the information they both possess.
Right.
Hey, is this level? I think the framing. There we are. Hey, if you like that video, check out more. We got some over here, some over here, some over there. Check the description. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.